Hey, welcome back. So last time we didn't get very far, but we made a crucial step. We were able to get JavaScript running in the browser from a file that we were running. Now in this video, we're also not going to get very far, but we are going to make one more crucial step before we start diving into all of the language goodness of JavaScript. Okay, so let's get back to the code. So last time we left off with an alert function right here inside of a script block inside of HTML. And the point that we were trying to make was that we only needed an HTML file to begin learning JavaScript. And while that's true, this is kind of aggravating to write all of your JavaScript directly inside of just this script block. So instead, let's go ahead. I'm going to cut this to take it out, and I'm going to tighten up this script block here. And instead, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new script file. We're going to create a file to hold all of our JavaScript. So we're going to create a new file. We're going to call it an imaginative name of script.js. And inside that script.js, we're going to just paste the same alert call that we had previously in our HTML. That way we're not writing anything new. We knew that it worked before, and so it's probably, as long as we can use this file somehow, the JavaScript is going to, or this line of code is going to run correctly since it ran before. All right, so let's save that. Now back in our HTML, we need a way to reference this new file. So what we can do is we can add a property to this script tag. We've already tightened it up. We've removed all the contents from it. So we can come in here, add a space, and do src, RC. This stands for source, equals, and then we're going to provide a string that is where the source for this script tag should be. So, and we want to reference, so what we're doing is we want to reference the script file that we just created. So we're going to say dot, to say that dot and then forward slash to say that this is the current directory that we're already sitting in. Here VS Code is trying to help us by saying, hey, I found these other files that are sitting inside the current directory. Do you want to use any of them? Yes, we want to use script.js. So if you're in a different editor, just go ahead and type that out. And what we can do then is save this. And so now our HTML file is hooked up to our new script file. All right, so let's open Chrome and let's see if this worked. You could use whichever browser that you like. Then what we're going to do is open the file that we were just editing. Now, keep in mind, we want to open the HTML file, not the script.js, because the index.html is still the entry point for our code. This is essentially like creating a super basic website, so we're still going to load that HTML file. All right, so we're already at the directory, and we're going to just click the index.html and click open. And here we have that immediately the alert kicked off and it said, hey, this is some JavaScript. That is exactly what happened from here. We saw the hello world on the page. That's where that's coming from. And we know that since this HTML file is loading the hello world and we got our alert, that alert is coming from right here inside the script.js, which was referenced inside the HTML file right here. Okay, so let's take this a step further, because coding things and checking it inside of an alert box, that can become a bit tedious too. And if you have a whole bunch of them, that's a completely new problem. So instead of alert, what we're going to do is keep the same string. We're going to get rid of our alert, and we're going to write a new line, console.log. Now what this does is it writes a message, or whatever we put in these parentheses, directly to the web console. Right there, add my semicolon back. And so now that we've changed the file, we're going to go back to the browser, refresh the page, and we should see our changes represented. So here, refresh. It doesn't seem like anything happened, but we're going to open Developer Tools. If you don't know where this is, inside of Chrome you can hit F12. Inside of many browsers you can just hit F12. Go ahead and for whatever browser that you're using, Google the browser name plus open Developer Tools, and you should be able to find it right there. So we hit F12 and we see our message again right here. Hey, this is some JavaScript. This whole section down here that we can type into, that is the web console, or just console. So what this means is that the console.log, this is part of the web API. this is a topic that we can talk about in a much later video. For right now, the only thing that you need to understand is that calling the console or calling the log function as part of the web API allows you to write directly to this little place down here inside the developer tools for your browser. Okay, so that is how we are able to get JavaScript loaded completely from just a single basic HTML file, but we now have this whole place aside from any other code that we can continue to write our JavaScript. Again, I know this is one small step forward, but just bear with me. Let's get through the fundamentals and then get into the fun stuff for the rest of the language and more videos. Thanks.